Welcome riding buddies. This week for my video we're going to do something a little bit different. I've had a few people request that I do some more bike evaluations on some of the old bikes and stuff, but with everything's been going on we haven't been able to get Ding out to have a ride on anything. So what we're going to do is I want to look at something very rare, very exotic, and to me it's one of my most favourite motocross bikes in all time. It's the 1976 Puch MC250. This thing was so rare back in the day. But what we'll do, we'll have a look at it and check it out and basically go through its history, where it came from, what it was all about, what happened to it. And we'll go from there. Hang on. What? Oh, here he comes. What you doing, mate? We haven't got a ride on this weekend. Yeah, we're going to do the Puch MC250. Nah, mate. We can't have you ride it. Who's got one around? There's none in Australia. Anyway, who would let you ride one? Oh, he's taken that quite well. He loves to come out and ride the bikes and check them out. But unfortunately, he's unable to do it this week because we don't have an actual bike for him to test. So, kick back. Ding's got the pups now, so he'll be gone for a week or so before I'll see him again. But sit back, relax, check out what this MC250 was all about. The story of the MC250 really starts in 1974, when a young Harry Everts graduates from the Puch 125 up to the Puch 250. In 1974, he comes away with third position in the World Championships. So a third for the first year of Puch with a 250 and Harry Everts' first year on the 250 as well in the World Championships. 1975 comes around, they give him a whole new bike. This is a brand new bike for 1975. So Puch and Harry are rewarded for all their hard work to take out the championship in 1975 before the year had even ended. This was the start of the 76 MC250 legend. To celebrate the win in the 75 World Championships, Puch wanted to bring out a works replica to celebrate the win. The problem was they didn't build a replica. They basically built a carbon copy of Harry's works MC250. Right down to the magnesium forks, magnesium engine cases. It was an absolute work of art and was definitely no replica. Puch wanted to build 100 commemorative models of the MC250. At the end of it, they built 97. So this is a very rare animal. Everything about this bike was high-tech for the time and cutting-edge technology. Featuring its main thing was the twin 32mm Bing carburetors, one doing the standard piston port induction of a normal two-stroke, the other powering the rotary disc valve, which was most commonly seen on Rotexes and Kawasaki's of the era. But two carburetors into the back of the 250 really gave this thing some grunt. The engine on this thing was an absolute powerhouse for the era. Depending on who dynoed it, as there were no official power ratings ever given on it, it varied from 42 horsepower to 51 horsepower. But even if you go smack bang in the middle, it's still a lot of power for 1976 250 two-stroke. The cylinder and cylinder head were just made of aluminium, just like any other bike of that era. But the difference was every cylinder was ported to suit every bike. The engine cases were handcrafted sandcast magnesium, all finished by hand. So this engine was a rare work of art. The frame of this very rare animal was a work of art in itself as well. The backbone was a perforated, very large piece of full chrome moly. The front down tubes were bolted at the headstem instead of being welded. Everything about this bike was just pure art. When it came to the suspension department, Puch didn't hold back neither. Magnesium Mazoshi forks offered 9 inches of travel up the front. Out the back, 9 inches of Mazoshi piggyback shocks filled in the rear end. You got to remember this was 1976, so 9 inches was quite a lot. The only real downfall of the Puch 250 was the brakes. Even the great Harry Everts said that the brakes were quite woeful. Twin magnesium hubs, front and rear, just didn't really cut it, even for that time. Everything about this bike oozed quality, even right down to the controllers supplied by Magura. Now the big question with this bike, how much was it? Basically you could buy two 250 Japanese motocross bikes for the price of the Puch, so it was a fairly hefty price tag. But let's put a bit of modern day perspective on this. If KTM bought out an exact copy of Tony Caroli's KTM 450 and sold it for the same price as 2 modern CRF 450 Hondas, I think that would actually be quite good value. I think his suspension would probably be more expensive than the 2 CRF 450s. So in 1977, unfortunately, Puch did not continue the development of this bike. They opted in later bikes to go to Rotax engines instead of building their own, which was a bit of a shame because they really were onto something with this engine, but costs and economy all rule. A really good source of information on this bike and so many other motocross bikes over the last 30 years is this book called Motocross Races by Ray Ryan. Unfortunately, Ray Ryan's no longer with us, but his book is still out there and it is an amazing bit of reading. Make sure you get out and get yourself a copy of it. So that is the Puch MC250 in a nutshell. As you've seen, it is a very special, iconic bike. Everything about this thing was so special. As I said at the start of the video, this is my all-time favourite motocross bike. Not that I've ever ridden one, but riding it would not really change any of my views of this bike. It's just the legend of the bike, where it came from, what it represented, what it was all about. Just everything about this bike just makes it a pure legend. Of course, the legend starts with Harry Everts, but really the MC250 Puch, the legend continues. You had Stefan Everts, Harry's son, winning multiple world championships. And now, in 2020, we've got Liam Everts. So the family legacy, as you might call it, continues on. So I would love nothing more than to see Liam win a world championship. Nothing like a grandfather, dad, and then the son come along and win a world championship. So yeah, check out an MC250 if you ever find one and you can afford to buy it. Certainly grab hold of it, because I believe that these days they're bringing around $30,000. So they're not exactly something that you find in a barn, that's for sure. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been really great putting this together. I learned a little bit more about the bike that I didn't realise, and it's been thoroughly enjoyable. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check out my other stuff in my library, and we will catch you next time around. Thanks a lot for watching.